What is up, YouTube? T Cookie and or Mythrulic here, and I am back with another Storytime Sunday. It's Sunday again, so no story, and I know I've missed a lot of Sundays, like a lot of Sundays. So um, I figured I'd make one right before I go to bed real quick. So let's get right into the story. So this took place. I was like 11. I don't know. I was like 11 or something, and I lived in Oregon at the time. It was like North Bend, Oregon, and I lived in this place called Airport Heights Apartments. And basically, it was this giant. It was like this giant like apartment, like I guess like complex place. It's not a complex, but it's like a big area of apartments. Like there's like a had like its own park, a couple parking lots, and all this stuff. And and by this park there was a basketball court, but the basketball court was kind of up a hill, and there's a big concrete wall right next to the hill, and and then there was like another road right next to it, and it led down to some more apartments. Um, but so let's start the story now. So it was my birthday. It was like my 11th birthday, I think. Yeah, it was my 11th birthday, and um, I was hanging out with my friend Amando, and he was a Mexican kid, but he didn't speak. He spoke English, but he wasn't like super fluent in it. And I was like one of his only friends at the time, and he was the only person I invited to my birthday party. I was like, he was like one of my friends, and he didn't really fit in. He didn't have a whole lot of friends, so I was just kind of like, hey, you want to come to my birthday party? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he came to my house or my apartment, and we hung out. And then we hung out for a couple hours. We played some video games and watched some TV. Just did regular 10-year-old stuff, well, 11-year-old stuff. And we went outside, and we were going up towards the park, and we stopped near that concrete wall. And my two friends actually met up with two of them, and let's just give the one of them. Let's just give them names real quick. Let's Steve and Joe. Okay, so Joe was like he was like 6, and um, Joe was like 6, and Steve, he was like my age. He was like 10 or 11, and so he quickly told us that he had bought this glow in the dark spray paint, and he was like super proud of it, and he spray painted all over this concrete wall right in front of Joe's house, or like Joe's apartment. So like you could literally stand at his front door, and like 10 feet away was the concrete wall, and you could see all the spray paint. And we were like, "Oh, cool," And we went up to the basketball court, and in the park, we played around for a bit, and then we came back down, and we were looking at the graffiti that he did with the glow in the dark spray paint, and we noticed that he left the can on the ground. So I pick it up and I start reading it. It's like okay, so it's actually glow in the dark, and then I shake it a couple times, and all of a sudden I hear behind me, "Hey, that's illegal, man!" And I just froze. And me and Amando looked at each other, and we were like, "Oh God!" And I had my hood on at the time. Okay, guys, so me and Amando both had our hoods on. All right, because I always wore my hood outside for some reason. The sun always got in my eyes, and I'd always wear this like really dark hoodie, and I'd wear it over my head, like over my face, so the sun didn't get in my eyes. And Amando was also wearing his hoodie, but it wasn't covering his face. He was just kind of wearing it on like the top, like just kind of on the back of his head, like kind of like a style kind of thing. And we anyway. So I picked it up, I shook it, and I just hear that's illegal, man. And I turn around, and there's Joe's mom, no, Joe's grandma, sorry, Joe's grandma standing right there at their front door. And they're like, she's like, yo, you can't do graffiti. That's vandalism. You can go to jail for that. And I was like, wait, no, 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 no. Okay, this wasn't me. It was Steve and Joe. And and then she's like, no, it wasn't. And she kept like screaming at us. And pretty soon Joe's mom came out along with Joe's grandma. So she was like, hey, what's going on here? And Joe's grandma told Joe's mom that like we were doing graffiti and she just caught us red-handed, and all that, and Joe's mom was like, why would you guys do that? It's vandalism. You can go to jail. She pretty much said the same thing that Joe's grandma did, and we were like, no, 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 no. This was Steve and Joe, like your son Joe and the kid down the block, Steve. And she's like, guys, Joe doesn't even know how to spell. He's only 6. And we're just like, no, 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 Hunter. What was his name? It was Steve. Steve. Hunter's the other kid. Different story. Uh, Steve was with him, okay, and he helped them spell. And they didn't believe us. We just got in this big argument, okay, and pretty soon, one of them pulled out a phone. She's like, "I'm calling the cops," and I'm like, "I'm gonna get you arrested." Keep in mind, I just turned 11, and I was like, "Let's cheese it, okay? Let's just cheese it and get out of here." And she straight up called 911 and was talking on the phone, trying to get cops down here to like get us in trouble. So me and Amanda was like, Mondo, run. And we took off down the hill towards my house. We got inside, and we were just completely out of breath, and our faces were both red, and it was just a terrible experience, just in all. And after that, we just kind of played more video games and hung out in the house. Then the next, I think it was like the next day, Amando's mom came and got him, and this big fan, like his entire family was in the van. It was like his grandma, his mom, his dad, and like 2 like brother and sister, and there was like they all fit this giant like soccer mom looking van. I don't know how they all fit in there, but after that day, I actually never saw him again. Like he moved away, and I never like talked to him ever again. That was the last memory I've ever had of Amondo. Um. Well, anyways, that's the end of the story. Like, comment, and subscribe. Comment if you want to see more of this. Comment what other game. That's not okay. That's my other outro. Comment what other kind of videos you want to see. And comment if you've had a similar experience. And see you in the next video. And remember, do it for the cookie.